I don't know what to do over here. Tony Ferguson, I was going to let the whole thing go. I was just going to let it go. And I've kind of rehearsed it in my head, having a feeling that sooner or later I'm going to have to discuss Tony Ferguson. Like, that's just going to come up. And I treat it like a death. Even if it's a death of a career, there's a mourning process. And when you show up to the wake, whatever grievance you might have, you bury. You don't say it. You don't say it then. Even if the poor guy owes you $40, you don't mention it. And I feel as though that's the right stance to take with Tony. But it's getting a little bit hard. Like, I feel like those rules, the rules of etiquette, the rules of sportsmanship and camaraderie, and I know him, and I like him, and we train together. I got my own things to boost Tony, but it feels like that goes out the window, and I'm going to have to steer back to being a little bit more candid. When one glove goes in and one glove comes out, it kind of changes the deal. So when Tony then gets to the post-fight press conference, he stands up, he takes the mic, and he makes some statements that were simply fiction, but they were concerning to me. If he was a worker, if it was me, if it was Colby, just for example, you would have taken in the show, you would have enjoyed it, and off you go. You might have even called a friend or two or sent him a screenshot if it was in print. Hey, did you hear what he say? But you wouldn't be concerned about our mental well-being because we have a history of being workers. So I've got to offer that. Like, if this was meant to be a performance and entertainment, and this is the first time ever that he goes into the entertainment side of it, okay, great. We can all get up and walk out, but that sure wasn't my interpretation. I thought we were being very candid and very sincere. I took him at his word, and his word was flat frightening. His words were, hey, if all these thousands of fans are going to come out here and spend all this money to come and support me, they'll come and follow me somewhere else, which is absolutely true. Absolutely. If you were so over that an arena full of people bought tickets for you and flew over there for you, yeah, they'll go with you. And they got a word. They've only got one. They've had two in history. Right now, the word is Conor McGregor. In all of history, it's Conor McGregor and Kimbo Slice. Are you aware of that? Does that surprise you? The one guy that could go anywhere and do anything was Kimbo Slice. Are you aware of that? And the only star that this industry has, which means it could go anywhere, and the people will come, is Conor. Conor McGregor is so over, they load up jumbo jets in Ireland, and they fly him to Las Vegas. Conor McGregor is so over, he will have about 10,000 people that come out to Las Vegas, I've seen this with my own eyes, that don't have tickets or any plan to get tickets and go to the event. They just want to be in Vegas and support him. And they go out and they line the streets. And they sing and they chant. And they don't even go to the fight. I mean, that's how over he is. Nobody did that with Tony. Nobody. No, I don't mean not thousands of people. I don't mean I had 6 or 7. That's not quite it. No. This is nobody. Zero people. Booked a ticket, flew over there, did whatever you had to do to come out and support Tony. When a guy takes his gloves off and it's a retirement, you cheer for him. It's called etiquette. Never in history of sport, any sport, has somebody called it a day and not gotten a standing ovation. Now, I know that I'm stating the obvious for you. What I'm saying is, this is where the concern comes. He said it in the post-fight press conference, wherever I go, I'm just going to get better and better and better. He said that, like, I would imagine it couldn't be any worse. What kind of a bar is that? I'm going to get better. A national champion wrestler with a black belt under Eddie Bravo just got jobbed out in the first round by a move that you learn on your first day. I don't have a problem with that. By the way, Father Time Casual and all of that stuff that people like to say. But my problem is there wasn't a hand fight. That's my problem. Getting beat, losing a position, all of these things are real. You're dry, and it's the first round. Kies is a stud. Like, all of these things are real. But a natural reaction, if I was to take somebody that was not a trained fighter, forget about the black belt, forget about former interim champion of the world, forget about the national champion, just a guy, and I was to put him in that technique, he naturally, with no he naturally is going to come to the problem, which is the arm around his neck. That didn't happen. That is my problem. Whatever loss of motor skill, whatever loss of capacity to not only defend that like a fighter, to not defend it like an untrained fighter, it was a problem for me. And this comes from concern. By the way, the losses didn't matter. He was supposed to lose that fight. Like, Tony losing that fight comes to the surprise of absolutely nobody. But if you go out and you set a new UFC record the wrong way, and you have a match where, thank God in heaven above, there was a grappling hold as opposed to being pounded out. If a guy gives you his microphone, which is the most valuable thing that Chiesa could have that night, the single most valuable thing, it's not the check that he got in the back for the win bonus or even being eligible for submission of the night. The single greatest thing he got that night that he had to fly to the Middle East for was that microphone, and he gave it up out of respect. Gave it up because you had taken your gloves off, which is the international sign of retirement. And when you get the microphone from the guy that earned it, you don't shine him up, put him over, and then you don't retire one glove in and one glove out. It's a double cross. It's a dick move. I can live with all of these things. I can live with saying, hey, you got this wrong and you fought out your contract and it's no hard feelings. You're going to be remembered wonderfully. I can live with those things if I didn't have the slightest bit of fear and concern that he is going to pursue a fight and possibly get one elsewhere. That's concerning to me. And I don't use as evidence, well, he got a little bit older. I don't use that as evidence. He's fighting the best guys. This isn't a surprise. I can't shout at you today because of what I saw. I could have shouted this last week. I knew this was going to happen, and so did you. That's not what this is. It's baseball. Anything in life, 3 strikes and you're out. You fainted retirement and took a microphone from a guy that earned it. That's unsportsmanlike. And it's a double cross. Strike 1. Post-fight press conference. Clear as the day. Right, didn't take any shots. Clear as the daisy. Believing that a building full of people flew to a different country to watch you fight. Strike 2. Being put in the most basic position and not defending it or attempting to in the most basic way. Strike 3.